Morning, everybody. I call the meeting to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis people. Our panel today is, to my far left, Mr. Ed Sawatsky, to my left, Ms. Lynn Nesbitt, and I'm Robert Buss, the chair. The assessor today is Arif Dost Mohammed, and our recording secretary is Huda Aziz. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussions to those matters. The statements that applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be a part of the public record.
Would you like to affirm? Please state your full name. And you affirm the evidence you represent is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. Would you like to swear or affirm?
That's right.
Okay. Please state your full name.
Marcelo Navarro.
And do you swear the evidence you represent is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Mr. Navarro, Mohammed, that's Mohammed. We have some industrial warehouses on the property on the docket for today. We will start with item number 1, 885 Q8 Street, please.
Good morning, everybody. So we'll start with file number 19-2848. Roll number is 140646000500. Address is 885 Keewatin. Roll area is 2020. Reference date is April 1st, 2018. And the assessed value is $6,955,000. It's an industrial warehouse. The number of buildings is 1. Number of premises is 4. Number of stories is 1. The actual year built was 1999, and the effective age is the same, 1999. The wall height is 27 feet. It's zone M2 manufacturing general. The land area is 163,738 square feet, which works out to about 3.76 acres. The plan area is 64,862 square feet. The gross floor area is the same, 64,862 square feet. The leasable area is 65,450 square feet. And the land to plan area is 2.52 to 1. If we turn to the next page. So we don't have any sale history for the subject property. You can see the subject leases there. The actual overall rent that they're collecting is $6.37 per square feet, and there has been 0 vacancy for the last number of years. On page 18 is the tenant roll. And then on page 3 is my comparables. So you can see all leases are current in relation to the reference date. All comparables are industrial storage warehouses. The effective ages range from 1972 to 2002. The wall heights range from 25 feet to 28 feet. The leasable areas range from approximately 7,500 square feet to 11,500 square feet, and approximately 22,000 square feet to 23,500 square feet to compare the different leasable areas available within the subject property. The net rents range from $6.50 per square feet to $8.25 per square feet. All comparables are Zone M2 and are in the same market region as the subject. On the next page is our workup. So you'll see we're utilizing an average income quality overall market rent of $6.88 per square feet. We're allowing for a 3.5% market vacancy, even though there has been zero vacancy for the last number of years. We're allowing $3.75 per square feet for a vacancy shortfall. We're allowing 2% non-recoverable expenses. Our evidence for the non-recoverable is on page 15. We're utilizing a 6% cap rate. We work out the NOI to be $417,318 with a cap rate of 6%. That works out to a capitalized value of $6,955,300 or an assessed value of $6,955,000. If we turn to page 9, actually page 8, we have the subject map. At the bottom is the subject parcel boundaries. And then on page 9, we have the overhead views of the subject property. So you can see it's a fairly large building. There's the loading docks in the back. On the next page is the front and the back views. On page 11, same thing, front and back, front views. If we turn to page 13, we'll see the rear view of the subject property. And then on page 14 is the income expense mailer that we handed in. And then on page 19 is our cap rate study and our non-recoverable expenses studies. We've gone through this with previous boards, so I'm not going to repeat the same info. So going back to our assessed value, we believe that the assessed value of $6,955,000 to be fair and equitable, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm this value. And I'm open to questions.
Thank you. Navarro, has any questions?
Just a couple. The entire valuation is model-based?
Yes.
Okay, so you've made no adjustments to it?
No.
Okay. Those are my questions.
Thank you. See if the panel has any questions. Mr. Swatsky?
You've indicated gross floor area and leasable area.
Mm-hmm.
So where is the non-leasable area?
I'm not sure this is what we received from the tenant roll, so I'm thinking maybe there's a mezz area that we might not have included.
But you don't know.
No.
Okay. No further questions.
Ms. Nesbitt?
Actually, if you look at the tenant roll on the income expense on page 19, they're indicating a leasable area of 65,450 square feet. On page 14.
Okay. So I should ask him the question.
Exactly.
Ms. Nesbitt?
Okay, yeah. On page 2, I believe you're indicating that the actual overall net rent is $635. 637 a square
Yes.
foot.
Yeah.
Okay. And your model is coming out at 688.
Right.
So there's
But we're also allowing for vacancy and shortfall. So.
Yeah, okay. So just to recap then, your model is overestimating by about 50 cents a square foot, but
Or
despite a 0% vacancy, you're giving 3.5
Right.
in the model. And the 3.5 is a model vacancy?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Does the vacancy vary for this type of property by area, or is it more by
It's
type?
by area. Well, it's all industrial, so it's by area.
Okay.
And actually, in my later briefs, we'll see some market information from other sources also.
So is 3.5 the minimum vacancy that your model would attribute?
Yes, I believe so. I think we might have seen 3% somewhere else. But
And I saw a wall height of 27 feet. Is that considered good for this type of property?
It depends on the tenant that is leasing
Okay.
it. So not all tenants need high ceilings. Some
Okay.
require lower, some higher.
And would you suggest that this is a good property? In terms of its characteristics?
Yes, actually, I was there, last time I was there was July 3rd, 2018.
Okay.
In SPAT, so it's in average quality, for sure, minimum.
So you said July 2018 inspection?
July 3rd, 2018, yes.
Okay. And that was interior inspection as well?
Right, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you take these pictures?
No, I did not take these pictures. These pictures, so on page 9, those are from our system. Page 10, those are from Google, and page 11 to 13 is a brochure that they had for lease at one time.
Okay. The land to building ratio of 2.52, is that work well? Is that adequate
That's
for this type
for
of?
M2, M1 and M2 do not require large outdoor area use, so yes, it is.
So it would be average. Okay, I think all the other questions have been asked. Would you like to take us through your...
On page 3, you can see the property site map with there is an adjacent spur line that crosses the back of the property. And it is on the corner of Church and Keewatin. Again, this is a multi-tenant office warehouse building constructed in 1998. 64,000 gross floor area of 64,862 square feet, and a wall height of 27 square feet. And you can see that this site is slightly irregular. The land to building ratio, I think, we have 2.55. The assessor has 2.52. It's close. If you turn to page 6 of the brief, we've gone with a rent of $6.44, fairly close to the assessor. Below that, we have a chart of comparable properties. In terms of all of the other characteristics, I think we're pretty much dead on in terms of there's no difference between ours and the assessors except for our unrecovered expenses, where we've kept the 7% unrecovered expense allowance. We have the same capitalization rate of 6% as the assessor also. And if you turn to page 8, again, we can go through this. We have a leasable area of 65,450, giving us an income of 421,749. We've applied 3.5% vacancy to this. Again, non-recoverables of 7%, shortfall of 375, and a capitalization rate of 6%, giving us a value of $6,165,138. And we are asking for a reduction to $6,165,000 respectfully. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you.
Just a couple of questions, or one question actually. On your page 6, your comparables, I take it you are not relying on any of those comparables, since you're going with the higher
So I looked at, I went with a higher rent than,
So you're not relying on that, okay. That's the only question.
Thank you. Ms. Nesbitt, questions?
Yes, so you are using a rent of 6.44 in your calculations?
6.4.
And so that plus that 5% non-recoverable accounts for the...
The difference in the, it's a higher value property, so the effects of those small percentage changes actually aren't quite substantial.
Yeah, okay, thank you, that's all the questions I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Swansky?
No questions.
Oh, I do have one. But despite 0% vacancy, you are going with the 3.5 as well. You're sort of taking that model vacancy.
It's vacancy is something that exists in the marketplace, so from a fee simple perspective, we would allocate some vacancy to a building if we were looking at it from that perspective, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And in terms of the rents, I mean, the rents are, as you can see, they're fairly close to the actuals. The reasoning behind that is that we feel that they're fairly close to market, so we made a slight adjustment on those, and now we feel that we've accounted for that change in the market.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that spur line still there? Is it operating?
Last time I drove by there, which was last week, it's still there, so, yeah.
But they don't use it?
I don't know who actually uses that spur line. I don't actually think it's the subject. It may feed another property down. But yes, it's still there.
I think that's all my questions. I've asked already. The summation? Okay, thank you very much. That will conclude item number one.
I do have rebuttal to their rebuttals for the recovery, the 5% recovery. I can hand it out, or you guys have this information from before. It pertains to all our briefs.
Well, we don't have it in front of us, so it's up to you if you want to hand it out.
Sure, I'll just hand it out. I won't. I think everybody's heard it.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I think they only have the
It's in page.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm going to get it for yours as well.
Thank you. Okay, and you're not speaking to that?
I think a lot of assessors have already, and I
Very
think the board has probably heard it many times. So.
Okay, so that will conclude item number one on the docket, and we will move on to item number 2, 1881 Burroughs Avenue.
Okay, so Board of Revision file number 19-3073. Roll number is 140-646-01100. The address is 1881 Burroughs Avenue. Roll year is 2020. Reference date is April 1st, 2018. Assessed value is $6,542,000. Parcel use is industrial warehouse. Number of buildings is 1. Number of premises is 2. Number of stories is 1. The property was built in 2018, and the effective year built is 2018. Wall height is 24 feet. It's zone M2 manufacturing general. The land area is 97,964 square feet. The planned area is 78,781 square feet. The gross floor area and lease floor area is 78,781 square feet. The land to plan area is 1.24 to 1. Turning the page. So we see that there has been a sale on the subject property. So in August 4th, 2015, there was a multi-roll sale, and that multi-roll sale was for $8.2 million. And subsequently, it was sold again, and I believe it was just land at the time, so the subject property wasn't built at the time. So December 5th, 2016, the land-only sale was for $850,000. So there was no subject leases found. Subject is a newly built self-storage warehouse. If you turn to page 12, there you see we have a permit for construction of a one-story 7,319 square foot meter self-storage building, and the declared construction value is $5.9 million on that. On page 17, we have the floor plan. It's hard to see, but it's just a whole bunch of self-storage units in there. There's another picture on page 18. And then on page 19, we see there was another permit for $30,000 for signage. At the bottom there is an occupancy permit. It was given May 1st, 2018. On page 20 and 21, this is right from their website. We see what they are charging for those self-storage units. So, for example, on page 20, the self-storage units there, the 5x5, they're charging $85 monthly rent for that. That works out to about $40.80 per square foot over an annual basis. And I think I have given you the numbers for all of those there. So $40.80 per square foot, $33.33 per square foot, etc., all the way down. And then on page 21, where these have a larger self-storage unit, and that works out to $21. So it goes all the way from $40.80 to $21 per square foot. Okay, and then on page 3, I have some comparables, but I don't know if these are not really comparables to self-storage units, but you'll see all the leases are current in relation to the reference date. All comparables are classified as industrial storage warehouses. The effective dates range from 1969 to 2014. The wall heights range from 22 feet to 30 feet. Leasable areas range from 55,000 square feet to 80,500 square feet. And the net rents range from $5 a square feet to $8.07 per square feet. On page 4, we have our workup. We're utilizing an average income quality rate of $5.41. And I think the agent or the applicant agrees with our rents there. We're allowing for 3.5% vacancy. We're allowing 2% non-recoverable expenses. We're allowing a vacancy shortfall of $3.75 per square feet. That works out to an NOI of $392,530 dollars, I think. The overall cap rate we're utilizing is 6%. That gives us a capitalized value of $6,542,167, or an assessed value of $6,542. Sorry, $6,542,000. So on pages 8 to 11, I have the pictures for it. So on page 8, there is the map of the subject. At the bottom is the subject parcel boundaries. So on page 9 there you see that was the sale for the vacant lot in 2016. And then in 2018 at the bottom there is the constructed improvement there. On page 10 there's another overhead view, and then at the bottom is the street views, and on page bottom of page 10 and page 11. So taking into consideration the actual per square foot rental rates that are charged by the applicant, which are stated on their website, and the total reported bill cost of $6.78 million, which supports our assessment, we believe that the assessed value of $6,542,000 to be fair and equitable, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm this assessed value. And those are, I'll be open to questions.
Thank you.
Yes. Nothing much in terms of what's there in evaluation. However, if you can turn to page 9 of your brief, you have the before and after picture of the construction here. Now, this structure is quite large, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm looking at the front of the building, and in terms of overall parking space and access, would you agree that there's not much there?
This is self-storage, so
Okay. So it could not easily be converted into, say, a warehouse if the self-storage business didn't work out?
well, it's zoned industrial, and they built the building in an industrial section, so.
Okay. But it doesn't have the proper access for loading and unloading, correct?
Not for loading and unloading,
Okay.
but if you look at page 11, there's the shot of the parking lot. So, I mean, you can fit a lot of cars in there.
Okay.
You can see that there's one car at the bottom there.
Okay, so potentially maybe it could become an office building.
Industrial office.
Yeah. Now, the line behind the property, that is also a CP line. I believe that is not a spur line. That actually feeds into the main rail yards.
I think you're going to find the rail lines in industrial areas of the city.
Okay. Going to your information concerning the rental rates here. Now, this is the rental of the individual units, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so this is a fee for service. It's not actually real property, correct?
This is what they're charging for rent inside their building.
Which is the service that they provide. It's a
Storage.
little bit different than actual real estate value.
Well, it's self-storage, yeah. So
Okay.
it's not office space.
I guess what I'm getting at is the service that they sell is rental storage spaces. It's not like they're renting the real estate. There's no
They're renting
there's no
the
net
storage.
rent here.
They're renting the storage.
A little bit different, I think, than. Those are my questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
This might not be, should be directed at the applicant, but the spur line, is it used for the site? Do you know?
I'm not sure if it's for this site. No.
No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Nesbitt.
I have no questions.
So is this one tenant in this building or two tenants?
It's one tenant, so there's office space, I guess, in there for the whoever manages it or whoever.
Because on the front of your brief it says two premises.
Yeah, the other premises, if you turn to my page 18. So in the red there, that's office space.
Page 18?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
see.
it's office space and storage space, so I guess that would be the front counter.
I see. And this is a self-storage business, and it's all inside, I see.
Correct, yes. It's heated environmentally controlled.
And although you've shown us what they rent the units for, you're not asking us to base value on that. You're using rents for
No,
standard
it's the
type
first year
warehouses.
in business, so we don't have the actuals for it yet. They haven't submitted, but you could see by the permits what they paid to The sale price and the permits are what they paid.
But on page 3, you've shown us a series of leases.
Yeah, I know, as
Similar
I mentioned,
properties.
yeah, but those are, yeah.
These are what we should be looking at, I believe, rather than the rental of
Correct, I put,
individual
yeah.
units, as Mr. Navarro was kind of was referring to, as more like a business value. It's a business they're running out of there.
Correct, and what I'm suggesting is maybe if you look at the, what they paid for the land and the permits, maybe that's closer to what it should be assessed at.
Okay. And the land to building ratio is quite low, but we talked about that already. I guess it's, if they were to try and change uses, it would be a little difficult for them, maybe.
But I think it was purpose-built for that use.
That's all my questions. Thanks. Would you like to take us through your information, Mr. Navarro, please?
Yes, and actually, it should be quite quick because there's not that much of a difference between our presentations. In terms of the rental value, we're using a very similar rent as the assessor. Vacancy 3.5%. Expenses, again, non-recoverables, we're adding that additional 5% for a total of 7%. Shortfall rate is the same. Capitalization rate is the same. Our end value is $6,190,847 or $6,191,000 rounded. I'm open for questions.
Thank you.
I don't have any.
No questions? Is there good questions?
No questions.
Mr. Sawatsky, any questions?
A little difference in the NOI, but I guess the difference is the 2% versus the 7%.
Correct.
No further questions.
Thank you. Okay, I think my questions have been asked, so we'll summation from either party. Okay, that will conclude item number 2. We will
Okay,
item number 3 is 58 Hutchins. No, pardon me. Yes, 58 Hutchins Street. Yes. Whenever you're ready, please.
all right, so Board of Revision file number 19-4018. Roll number is 140-643-20200. Address is 58 Hutchins Street. Roll year is 2020. Reference date is April 1st, 2018. Assessed value is $6,359,000. It's industrial warehouse. Number of buildings is 1. Number of premises is 1. Number of stories is 1. Actual year built was 1989, and the effective year is also 1989. Wall height is 27 feet. It's zone M2 manufacturing general. The land area is 99,986 square feet. Land area in acres is 2.3 acres. Plan area is 57,490 square feet. Gross floor area is 58,060 square feet. Leaseable area is 57,500 square feet. The land to plan area is 1.74 to 1. On page 2, so we have a sale for the subject property. Well, it looks like it's a paper sale, maybe. So the purchaser or the vendor was Sun Life Assurance Company, and the purchaser was 58 Hutchins Limited. That was on October 2nd, 2012, 6 years prior to the reference date. We don't have any. They never sent us a sales questionnaire, so I could not speak to that sale. But you can see the sworn value is 4.350 million, and that was 6 years prior to the reference date. There is one tenant, and they're renting at 6.75 net. I was at the premise also July 3rd, 2018. If you look at the the income expense questionnaire on pages 12 to 14, actually page 13, you can see the revenues of there of $388,125. And on page 14, we see that they're collecting a base rent of $6.75, and they're also having recoveries of common area estimates, management fees, and taxes that they're all recovering. Going back to page 3, there are my comparables, so you can see that all leases are current in relation to the reference date. All comparables are industrial storage warehouses. The effective ages range from 1969 to 2000. The wall heights range from 25 feet to 30 feet. The leasable areas range from approximately 47,500 square feet to 60,000 square feet. The net rents range from $5 per square feet to $7.75 per square feet. And all comparables are zoned either M2 or M1. And then on the following page, we have our workup. So you can see that we're using a average net rental income rate of $7.74. We're allowing for 3.5% vacancy. We're allowing for 2% non-recoverable expenses. We're allowing for a vacancy shortfall of $3.75 per square feet. That gives us an NOI of $413,337. We're utilizing a cap rate of 6.5% to take into account the age and condition and location of the subject. This results in a capitalized value of $6,359,031, or a assessed value of $6,359,000. So if you turn to page 8, I have the subject map and the parcel boundaries there, and then on page 9 is the overhead view. So we see there's office space in the front there, there's loading docks there. At the bottom is the front view of the subject. And then on pages 10 to 11, there we have some internal shots of the subject. Now I got those from a brochure that we have put out recently, and apparently they're selling the building or leasing it, whatever comes first, I guess, currently. So so you can see it's a fairly nice building. It's an average shape. It's a nice warehouse. There's some decent office space in there. So going back to my workup, so taking into account the considerations for value of $4.35 million 6 years prior to the reference date and the income that the property generates, we believe that the assessed value of $6.35 million to be fair and equitable, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm this value. And I'm open to questions.
Thank you. Let's see if there are any questions.
Yes. One moment. In terms of your rent that you've applied, I'm looking at your comparables on page 3. And when I average these out, it comes out to about $5.85. Only one of the rents actually supports the model rent here. Do you think that maybe the model is overestimating rent here?
No, looking at the subject and the condition it's in and the cap rate that we've given to it, we believe it's in fairly good condition. And like I said, we do have a copy of the recent sale that they're asking price.
Is that, when is that from?
That's recent. It's from March, so I haven't included it in my, but I can see what the value is that they're asking.
Okay, now, the valuation is based on a reference date of April 1.
Which, yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of your comparables, have you been to any of these comparables?
Off the top of my head, I do not know, but I have been to the subject property.
Now, 1415 Mountain would be in the vicinity of the subject. It's in Inkster Industrial Park. Is this one?
1450, yes.
Okay. Now, most of that development was built in a similar time frame, correct? 1970s?
Correct.
Okay.
The subject, though, was built in 89.
Okay. The capitalization rate is 6.5.
So if you look at the closest comparable there, 2000 would be the closest age to it. 1997. However, 1997 would probably be closest to it. So
And
the one
rent
in
on
Alma.
that?
So it is the same market region?
That has a rent of 623, correct?
Right.
Okay. Those are my questions.
Thank you. Ms. Husband, any questions?
No, nothing additional questions.
Mr. Swansky?
The land plan area is 1.74, which is similar to the previous one, which was considered to be not the best. Given the layout of this property compared to the previous one, is this a little better than for future use?
Well, if you look at the front shots of the building on page 9, you can see that the loading docks are right in the front there. So yeah, it's
Loading and unloading is not going to be a problem in the
No,
future.
no.
No other questions, thanks.
Thank you. I guess I as well am questioning the rent. When I see your rental comparables, none are quite as high as the rent you're using, and the closest one is the newest building in 2000, built in 2000. But our subject property here is older than 2000. So is it in any way better than these buildings?
I think because it's in the shape that it's in is why we're using the higher rent, and we're looking at what they're charging. They're charging $675. So
May I direct a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Does the model account for actual conditional changes in terms of the rent?
it does with the cap rate.
Okay, but not with the rent.
No, the rent is based on the
Okay.
income statements that we get.
Thank you. You've answered my question.
Okay. And my questions have been asked, so Mr. Navarro, if you would like to.
I apologize if there's no numbering on this, but if you can turn to this page with the chart. Nice blue chart there. So at the very top of it, where it says potential market rent, so we've used the rent of $6.75, which is the rent in place. We feel that that rent is at market. And again, as I'll read the little paragraph there, the actual potential net market rent for the property as of the reference date is $388,125 per annum, based on the 2014 lease renewal rate of $675. This appears to be a step up for 2017, as the 2016 rate was $6.50. So it actually has included a step up in 2017 to $6.75. And again, in terms of the market comparables, I think $675 is appropriate for this property. In terms of vacancy, we've gone with the same parameters of the city. Shortfall rate, same parameters. Unrecovered expenses, we have the 5% difference. And the capitalization rate, I believe we've used the same capitalization rate as the city. So in terms of end value, we're looking at $5,242,706 or $5,243,000. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you. You can see
So we're using the renewal rate of $6.75 per square feet.
Correct.
So why are you not using a 0% vacancy then?
Because the 675 is actually supported by rent comparables, which suggests that it's at market.
But you were in your brief, you state that you are using the renewal rate, so we don't know what the market rate is that you're suggesting. So the renewal rate, so you want to use the actual renewal rate, but you want to use market vacancies, what I don't understand.
If we have an actual rent in place that we believe is at market, that is supported by market rent comparables, then that rent is effectively at market. And we can go through yours, and they actually support our rent also. What we were trying to say is that your model was overestimating rent, that the rent in place is actually closer to market than what your modeled rent was.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, we'll see if Pam has questions. Ms. Nesbitt, questions?
No, I have no questions.
Mr. Sawatsky?
No questions.
I have a question on the income and expense statement, or the income statement. On this page here. Under non-recoverable expenses, they're saying management fees was $48.89 and 40 cents. And then they have some asset management fees. I think we've been through the asset management fees before and found them not to be something they should be deducting. But the management fees, they're showing less than, just slightly under 5,000. But when you use the 7%, it comes to in your workup, when you're using 7%, it comes to about 26,000. That's quite a bit more than the 5,000 they're saying is their management.
Right. So, and I have to reiterate here that we're not actually using the actuals, even though the rent in place is something that we used. The reason we used it is because we're saying that it's at market. And again, going back to this comment that I made to the assessor, we feel that their model over-assessed the potential rent of the property. Again, the comparables support, I believe, support our rent at $6.75. Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of the rest of the valuation, we're using market parameters. So the non-recoverables would be a standard market parameter that we would use. This is what we've defended most of this assessment cycle. Every Alta station has done this. So I hope I'm not confusing you when I say that we are using the rents in place. We're not saying that we're using the actuals. We're saying that that rent supports is supported by the market.
I understand the difference. Okay, thank you. And you both agreed that the 6.5% cap rate is reasonable?
Correct.
Thank you, that's all my questions. That will conclude item number 3. Item number 4 today, 150 Wyatt Road.
All right, Board of Revision, file number 19-2810. Roll number is 140-641-22000. Address is 150 Wyatt Road. Roll year is 2020. Reference date is April 1st, 2018. Assessed value is $5,668,000. It's industrial warehouse. Buildings is 2. The number of premises is 2. The number of stories is 1. The actual year built ranges from 1974 to 2003. We're using an effective year built of 1974. The wall height ranges between 22 feet to 24 feet. It's zone M2 manufacturing general. The land area is 180,397 square feet. Plan area is 65,164 square feet. The gross floor area and leasable area are both 71,839 square feet. The land to plan area is 2.7721. On the next page, we don't have any subject sale history, and it appears that the subject is owner occupied, so page 11 and 12. So there we see that the subject is owner occupied on page 11, and then on page 12 also there's no tenant role. So if you go to page 3, there's my comparables. So all leases are current in relation to the reference date. All comparables are industrial storage warehouses. All comparables are located in the same market region as the subject. Effective ages range from 1969 to 2000. The wall heights range from 20 feet to 30 feet. The leasable areas range from approximately 26,500 square feet to 58,500 square feet. Net rents range from $5.25 per square feet to $8.49 per square feet. And all comparables are zone M2. On the following page is our workup on page 4. So we're utilizing an overall average income quality rate of $5.98. So if I could just turn your attention to page 23. So this is a Collier's international study, and the subject is located in Winnipeg, Northwest. So on page 23, right in the middle there, you can see the average asking rents are in this area $6.71, and the vacancy is 3.66. And if you just look above that, under the trends, the third bullet there, asking rents continue to rise as the supply of quality buildings continues to diminish. So Winnipeg Northwest is, they need a lot of industrial space there, and we see the rents are rising every year there. And this is also backed up by Cushman and Wakefield, and I have their study on page 18. They say average single-tenant lease rate should be $7.40 in the northwest section there. So going back to page 4 on my on my workup. So we're utilizing $5.98 per square feet. We're allowing a 3.5% vacancy, even though it's fully owner-occupied. We're allowing 2% non-recoverable expenses. We're allowing a vacancy shortfall of $3.75. This results in an NOI of $396,729. We're utilizing an overall cap rate of 7%. That gives us a capitalized value of $5,667,557, which equals an assessed value of $5,668,000. So if you turn to page 8, I have the subject and the parcel boundaries. Page 9 has the overhead view of the subject. Then on page 10, we have the front and rear views of the subject property. And you can see on page 10 at the bottom, there's plenty of room for parking and loading. So taking into account that we're utilizing a lower overall average income quality rate when our counterparts in the industry are saying that we should be higher, we believe that the assessed value of $5.668 million to be fair and equitable, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm this value.
Thank
And
you.
I'm open to questions.
Thank you.
First question with regards to your comparables on page 3. You've gone with a rent of $5.97. And the average of the comparables that you've listed is $6.62. Do you think that you're underestimating the rent?
How are you working out the averages? Are
I'm
you
just
just adding them all up and
Yeah,
dividing by the number?
It gives-
Well, shouldn't you be timesing up by the square footage and then having the total square footage and then dividing?
I mean, this is a rough calculation.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that.
Okay.
And you can see that our colleagues in the industry are saying that the rents are increasing. Colliers is saying that the rent should be $6.71. Cushman is saying that the rent should be
Sure.
over $7.
And we'll get to that. Now, you've got some smaller spaces here, in some cases half of the space, correct? Or less than half.
No, I'm utilizing two different spaces there, so some are ranging, if you look at the premises on the subject property, there's two premises.
Right.
One is 28,400 square feet, the other is almost 43.5. And that's why I have the different size of comparables.
Are there two tenants here?
It's two premises, so if they were to lease it out on the market, that's what it would be leased as.
Yeah, but currently there is one tenant.
It's owner occupied, yeah.
Owner-occupied.
And there's no vacancy.
Okay. Your report on from Colliers on page 23. Now, one of the notable transactions here is Canada Goose at 1450 Mountain, correct? Okay. Now, you included 1450 Mountain in one of your briefs here, and that rent is at $5 per square foot.
Sorry, where do you see
1450 Mountain Avenue. Number 1, Canada Goose. Notable lease transactions.
Right, the lease, yes.
Okay. Now, that is within this area, correct?
Yep.
And that lease is at $5 according to your brief.
Well, it's for 128,000 square feet,
Okay.
so
Those are my questions.
Thank you. Mrs. Swansky, questions?
I do not have any questions, thank you.
Ms. Nesbitt?
I don't have any questions.
So this building was built in two parts? It's sort of
yes,
the way
it looks like it, yes.
The way it looks like it's two sort of units. One was 1974 and the other was in 2003.
Correct.
But you haven't got as an effective age somewhere sort of in the middle. It seems odd that you
No,
used an effective age.
Just
The whole-
trying to find it. Correct, yes. So I don't know, it looks like, yeah, we didn't do that.
And
So I guess where we accounted for that was in the cap rate.
have you inspected this property?
Not this one, no, I haven't. We're just overwhelmed with appeals right now, so.
Going to page 23, where you were quoting from, in that third bullet, it says, asking rental rates continue to rise as the supply of quality buildings continues to diminish. Would you consider this a quality building?
Yes, I do. Any industrial building in the city, there's no space left. People are building outside now. So. This is the average quality building, so.
That's all my questions, thank you. Mr. Navarro, if you would like to
Right.
take us through your information,
Okay.
please.
We've gone, if you can please turn to page 6 of the report. You can see the chart. These are the lease comparables that we've looked at. The most recent lease is at 21 Paramount for 33,200 square feet, beginning in March 2017 at $5.10 per square foot. In terms of the specifics, it's M2 zoned. It has 22-foot wall height. Now we've gone with a rent of $5.10 for the main area, $2.75 for a mezzanine, $4.88 per square foot overall for 71,839 square feet. We've applied a vacancy of 3.5, a shortfall of 375, unrecovered of 7%, and capitalization rate of 7.25. The end value is $4,109,717,000 or $4,110,000. Open for questions.
Thank you. Questions?
Yes. So on your page 6, your comparables.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you the same question. Do you have leasable areas ranging from 30,000 to 140,000?
Correct.
And those are all similar to this subject?
They would be in similar areas, similar ages. Some of them are older.
You say that 140,000 square foot subject property for a property would rent the same as 70,000 square feet?
No, but I also wouldn't say that a 30,000 square foot property would rent for the same as 70,000 square feet.
Is there a reason why I didn't provide any addresses?
Any addresses?
Yes.
Some of our clients do not like their information being put in the public record, so we remove the.
So are these industrial properties, or are they, like, how can I verify these?
Well, you can see the zoning on them.
Well, I can't verify which properties you're talking about because there's no addresses on there, so. Well, how can I verify that the rent is $550, for example, for index number 1? How can I verify the wall heights, the zoning, the starting and the states? If you want to keep your client information confidential, then you shouldn't be using these comps. And I would suggest to the board that you not rely on any of these comparables because half the information, the major, how can you verify this? You would not submit this to the bank or lender for as comparables, as they wouldn't be able to verify them either. So I don't think the board should be putting any weight on those comparables.
Is that a question?
I'm just stating.
I would say that these are leases in place. We're not trying to hide what they are. I mean, if you can look at Paramount and find a building that's 33,200 square feet.
So if we were to submit comparables without addresses, you'd be happy with that?
I mean, again, we're not. The only thing that we're trying to do is protect some information for our clients, but for the most part, we've provided everything on the building.
In the past, when I've asked for addresses, I've been given some addresses, and the net rents have been off. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know why you do not provide addresses. And in regards to your cap rate, how did you come up with 7.25?
Did you review our capitalization rates?
Yes, I did, but you would say that the city has more information than Office does on all the properties in the city?
Correct, but I don't know how the city calculates their capitalization rates, so I can't. And you don't actually include that information in your brief.
Those are all the questions I have.
Thank you. If Anna has any questions, Mr. Sawatsky, any questions?
Well, I think we've covered the issues, so no, I don't have any further questions.
I'll ask you the same question I asked the assessor, because I see on your workup, page 8, you're using the building age of 1974, where apparently this building is built in 2 stages, and part of it was built in 2003, but you're calling it a 1974 building.
I don't know exactly what section of the building was built in 2003. In terms of some of the parameters that we use, it's clear that we do actually apply some of the same parameters that the city uses. You can see it in the vacancy, you can see it in the shortfall. In terms of the effective age of this property, we used what the city has used. But there may be a difference in terms of the effective age.
And for an effective age of 1974, your studies show that the cap rate should be 7.25.
I'll ask you to open up the capitalization again. I believe that was provided also. So if you can turn to page 11 of the capitalization rates then. So there are several different property types here. A single A, multi-B, A, B, industrial modern. You can see that for classification A, Colliers has it at 6.25 to 7.25. Multi-B, 6.5 to 7.25. CBRE, again, you can go through those.
What type of building would you classify this building?
I would say that this is likely a B. And we have it between 7 and 7.75.
Okay. Have you inspected this property?
Only a drive-by.
And your rents on page 6. A lot of them are from years 14 and 15. The one from the last one you had mentioned, March 1st, 2017, Paramount Road. Is Paramount Road in the subject area?
I believe Paramount actually is in that area. I'm not 100% sure.
You have to direct to the assessor. Do you know if Paramount is in that
yes,
area?
I believe it's in Inkster Industrial.
Okay. But you weren't able to provide any more releases from 2017?
No. Again, there's only so many leases in that area for larger properties. And again, I know that the assessor broke it up into 2 different premise areas, but we considered it as one. So we were looking at leases of slightly larger areas.
And do you agree with that information the assessor had in his brief where it stated that the rents have been increasing during the... asking rents continue to rise as the supply of quality buildings continues to diminish. Do you agree with that statement?
I would say that rents increase in most areas. The problem is where is the baseline for that rent? So you can say $6.71, but that's what Collier says, but exactly what properties is Collier looking at? So are they talking about their best investment grade properties, or are they talking about B class, C class industrial buildings? I don't know because their methodology is not there.
Yeah, I wasn't asking for the sort of the exact rent that they use, just that general idea that rents have been increasing since the rents are on the increase because your rents are all a little old.
Can I maybe add?
Pardon me?
Can I maybe add something?
Yes, as soon as he... So I was just asking your general opinion on whether that statement, whether you agreed with that statement, that rents were generally increasing.
I would say that rents in general are increasing. I think what I'll say about the northwest sector of Winnipeg is that there obviously is some vacancy there. However, a lot of the competition now for industrial area or industrial space is actually coming outside of Winnipeg. Because there hasn't been much built in Winnipeg over the past few years. So if you look at the arm of Rosser, the northwest corner of Winnipeg, that would be newer subdivisions that are being built as part of the
Yes, what do we call that?
Center Point.
Center Point, yes. Okay, thank you. And if you have something...
Yeah, so maybe, like, if you look at page 17 of my brief, right there, Cushman and Wakefield states that the industrial market in Winnipeg continues to be a landlord's
Maybe you'd like
market.
to, this could be your summation, how is that?
Okay.
Or is that a direct question, or you just...
I just wanted to, okay, I'll
Okay,
submit.
we'll see when the questions are finished. Okay, I have no more questions. If you'd like to add something in summation, go ahead.
Sure. So, Cushman and Wakefield states that the industrial market in Winnipeg continues to be a landlord's market. I'm reading this from page 17 of my brief. With available products still at a minimum. The industrial leasing market in Winnipeg was very active in 2017 as there continues to be more users than available space. So that's Cushman and Wakefield. And then on page 19, this is Robert Foucault from Colliers International. In his little write-up there, the second paragraph, the industrial sector continues to see an increased demand for multi-tenant investment properties. And then, and I've already mentioned the Colliers, the one where the rents are trending higher, but on their page 21, in the top paragraph there, they state inventory supply remains limited with Winnipeg's overall vacancy rate for this quarter, that meaning fourth quarter 2017, has dropped to its lowest point within the last 5 years. So I believe that the rents that we're using are in line with the market, and I believe that our assessment is fair and equitable. So I respectfully ask that the board confirm our assessment of 5.668 million.
Very good, thank you. Is there anything you would like to add, Mr. Navarro?
Yes, if you could turn to page 8 of the industrial vacancy report. Going over the vacancy of this property again, we can see vacancy in Winnipeg going from 2.5 to 3.0. So it has increased slightly since 2008. If we look at single tenant properties, and again, there's a chart on page.
What did you look at?
The cap.
The cap rate report.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Investment inventory and vacancy. Under that page, you can see single tenant, multi-tenant, year-end single tenant investment vacancy rates go from 4.9 in 2008 to 8.7 in 2017. And again, for multi-tenant, 8.4 to 6.7. So it depends on exactly what sector you're looking at in that industrial market. So to just say that blanket it's 3% and again, I think you need to look at it a little bit more closely. But in terms of the rents, again, we looked at this from the perspective of a single tenant occupancy. The assessor says that there's 2 premises there. It's owner occupied. We looked at it from the perspective of a single tenant. We see 71,000 square feet. That's the difference.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you. That concludes item number 4. And perhaps we'll take a short recess. And continue on. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. And we will begin with item number 5 on the docket.
Okay, Board of Revision file number 19-2986. Roll number is 14064152600. Address is 1670 Inkster Boulevard. Roll year is 2020. Reference date is April 1st, 2018. The assessed value is $5,461,000. It's industrial warehouse. The number of buildings is 3. The number of premises is 2. Number of stories is 1 to 2. Actual year built and effective year built is 1974. Wall heights range from 11 feet to 22 feet. And zoning is M2 manufacturing general. The land area is 212,548 square feet, or 4.9 acres. Plan area is 64,459 square feet. There's no basement. The gross floor area is 76,663 square feet. Leasable area is 74,800 square feet. And the land to plan area is 3.3 to 1. On the following page, so we have sale history. Subject was sold September 6, 2006 for $3.75 million. And then it seems like there was either an accounting entry or something on October 2nd, which is 6 years prior to the reference date for $5,050,000. And then at the bottom we have some subject property leases. I just want to state that 395 is incorrect. I forgot to change that. But if we look at page 13. Here you have the statement of income. At the bottom there, you see they're collecting rental revenue of $388,296. If you divide that by 74,800 square feet, that gives you an overall rate of $5.19 per square feet that they're using. So going back to my page 3, I have my comparables there. So you can see all leases are current in relation to the reference date. Effective ages range from 1970 to 1989. Wall heights range from 12 feet to 26 feet. And the leasable areas range from approximately 26,500 square feet to 44,000 square feet. The net rents range from $5.50 to $6.50 per square feet. And all comparables are zoned M2. On the following page is our workup. So we're utilizing an average income quality net rental rate of $5.54, which is below what Cushman and Wakefield and Colliers is using, and I've included the reports in the back again. We're allowing for 3.5% vacancy. We're allowing 2% non-recoverable expenses. We're allowing a vacancy shortfall of $3.75 per square feet. That gives us an NOI of $382,300. We're utilizing a cap rate of 7%. That gives us a capitalized value of $5,461,429, or an estimated assessed value of $5,461,000. So if you turn to page 8, again, there's the map of the subject, the parcel boundaries. You can see that it's quite a big area that they have there. Page 9 is the overhead view. Page 10 is the Google Street View of the subject property. Page 11 in the middle there, I have pictures from the brochure. So you can see the interior is in average condition. And then on page 12, there's some more pictures. There's the warehouse and some more office space. So taking into account the sworn value of $5,050,000 from 2012, which was 6 years prior to the reference date, and the current asking rental rates that we see, what the industry is asking from the industry reports I have in the back, we believe that the assessed value of $5.461 million to be fair and equitable, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm this value.
Thank
And I'll
you.
be open to questions.
Thank you. Mr. Navarro, if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask.
You have a consideration on page 2 of $1 and a sworn value of $5,050,000. Did you look into this sale?
I tried, I couldn't find any info. They haven't submitted any info on it.
So you're not aware if this was actually just
It looks like a book entry.
And the rest of your information is all model?
Yep.
No adjustments?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Panel member, Ms. Nesbitt?
Yeah. Just going back to that page 2, your subject properties.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was writing a little too fast.
Yeah, the $395
Right.
is not actually what they're charging. It looks like the $395 is just for 7 months, not the 12 months.
Okay.
Because they change rates.
Okay.
So the rental roll is on the back there,
Right.
page 14. So right at the bottom, you can see that they change the rates there. So $395 works out to the top rate multiplied by 12 months instead, and it doesn't account for the other.
And it works out to $5.19.
Yes, so $5.19 per square foot.
Okay. And so your comparables then, you've used your previous methodology where there's 2 different tenants, you split the square foot
Correct.
comparables. So you have 2 different sizes,
Correct.
essentially. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that in my brain.
Yeah, and we're using a little higher rate, but we're allowing for the vacancy.
Do you know what the actual vacancy is?
I do not have any.
No, that's okay. Did you inspect this property?
I have been at this property. I went to see Ricky's the other day, but I can't remember if I went in or not.
Okay. Do you know when it was last inspected?
Yes, it would have been last year also, 2019.
For 2019?
2019, yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Swansky, any questions?
Have you got any comments on the land plan area? It looks like it has a lot of vacant land.
Yeah, it looks like there's surplus land, not excess land, but we didn't charge them extra for the surplus lines.
No further questions.
Thank you. It shows the building as 1974, but when I look at your pictures, especially on page 9, it looks like it was maybe built in pieces. Do you know anything about the history of it?
I do not know the history of the building, no.
a rent of, I should say, in the age of 1974.
Yes, I'm not sure if they were built all at the same time or at different times, but what we have in our system is it was just at one time. And that's why we have them.
And the comparable rents that you've used are said all in that area, Mountain, Burroughs, Keewatin?
Yes.
Thank you, that's all my questions. Mr. Navarro, if you would like to
Yep.
take us through your stuff when you're ready.
We turn to page 3 of the report, and it's located at 1670 Inkster. It's part of one-story, part one-story, part two-story building located on the southeast corner of the intersection of Inkster and Dunlop. The property was constructed in 1974 with plan area of $64,459, gross floor area of 76,663, and a wall height of 22 feet. The building has approximately 42,480 square feet of warehouse with approximately 5,500 square feet of storage mezzanine. The warehouse has suspended gas fire heaters, but has no office or washrooms. The subject site is irregular in shape with a total size as recorded by the Assessment and Taxation Department of 212,548 square feet and 2 zoning and a land to building ratio of 3.30. If we turn to page 7, so we've gone with the actual rents in place. I'll just make a slight correction to what the assessor said about how it worked out to $5.19. So we've taken into account the change in the rent on this property to $4.05. That is, in our opinion, at market, but it's actually not $5.19, it's $5.09. In terms of the rest of the parameters, we've gone with our standard parameters for vacancy, shortfall, non-recoverables, and a 7% capitalization rate, which I believe is what the assessor has not. So our end value is $4,738,000 rounded. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you.
So on your page 7, you say you're collecting $380,508 net?
That is net, correct.
On page 13 of my brief is the income expense mailer that they sent in, and you can see that they're collecting $388,396. So I'm just wondering where you got your information from.
Sure, it would have been from the rent roll that you have on page 14. That is where I got it.
So where does the 388 come from? That they submitted?
The 388 is their income and expense,
No, it's rental revenue.
from their income and expenses, right? That they
Yeah, so
So we went with what was on the rent roll.
So shouldn't we be going by the rental revenue?
Typically, no, that's not what we go with. We
So
usually go
why
with
is there a discrepancy in the rental revenue then?
I'm not sure, but again, we're going with the rent roll.
And again, on your comparables, you haven't submitted any addresses.
No.
Your comparables are old. Are they industrial?
Well, 16 through 21 are in the same area. They're industrial buildings.
And you have different sizes of areas there? And
Yeah.
you're comparing,
Yeah, 1670, index 17 is 1670 Inkster. Same with 18,
But
19.
you are relying on somewhat on these comparables, I would imagine, or you're not relying on it?
Somewhat, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you're averaging them all out, and you have, like your comparables 10 to 13 are huge, same with your comparable 7. How is that comparable to the subject property?
Did you say 17?
You're 10 to 13 and 7, sorry.
Again, it's a mixture of different sizes, but again, we're looking at the overall property, which is 74,800 square feet. You've broken it apart. We've done something slightly different.
Yeah, but would you not say economies of scale? If the bigger the premise, the lower the rent is going to be?
We often say that. Yeah.
Okay, those are all the questions.
But you can see in my actuals that that's actually been broken apart.
But your actuals aren't what they're reporting though. The actuals are 519 though. Is what they're reporting.
You're getting that from the.
Which is the rental revenue. So whatever they put on the roll, I'm not sure why they put that on the roll.
Okay. So let me ask you this: is that how the city calculates their rents?
I'm asking about your.
So I went with the rent roll, which is typically what we do,
Yeah.
and as I understand, that is typically what you do also.
I'm
You
not
don't
sure.
go by-
Well, I'm going by the rent revenue that they.
But your modeled rents are actually based on rent rolls, not on the income expense statement revenues reported.
I am telling you what they're using as a rental rate per square foot from their revenues.
Yes, okay, I understand. We'll move on from that.
Yeah, those are all the questions I have.
Thank you. Mr. Sawatsky, any questions?
So the issues that come to light then is the difference in the rent
Yeah.
per square foot and the 7% versus 2%.
That's the issue. That's right.
Thank you.
Okay. No questions? Okay, I have no questions either. And that will conclude item number 5. And we will move on to item number 6, which is 615 Inkster Boulevard, 1615 Inkster Boulevard.
Okay, Board of Revision file number is 19-2836. Roll number is 14064111600. Address is 1615 Inkster Boulevard. Roll year is 2020. Reference date is April 1st, 2018. Assessed value is $4,714,000. It's industrial warehouse. Number of buildings is 1. Number of premises is 5. Number of stories is 1. Actual year built and effective year is 1973. Wall height is 15 feet. It's zoned manufacturing general M2. Land area is 246,971 square feet or 5.67 acres. Plan area is 62,376 square feet. Gross floor area is 62,376 square feet. Leasable area is 61,875 square feet. Land to plan area is 3.9621. On the following page, so we see there is a sale history. August 28, 2012 was the most recent sale. It was 6 years prior to the reference date, and the sale price was $2.7 million. And on page 11, we see that the subject is fully owner-occupied. Oh, maybe not, sorry. Oh, there's no net leases, but there's gross leases. So if we look at page 11 and 12, we'll see there's rental revenue there. There's no recoveries, and that's why it's gross. So sorry, give me 1 second. collecting $11.72 gross there. They have some parking revenue. And then if you turn to the following page, on page 12, you'll see there's 7 tenants in the building there. Okay, going back. So there are significant leasing revenues and parking revenues. The inclusion of building depreciation and mortgage interest in their income expense is not allowable expenses when calculating NOI. And if you look, that almost all tenants are long-term tenants with sizable leasing areas there. So the rents have been in place since at least 2013. So, and then going back to page 3 on my brief, so there's my comparables. All leases are current in relation to the reference date. Effective ages range from 1974 to 1979. Wall heights range from 11 feet to 20 feet. Leasable areas range from approximately 3,500 square feet to 20,000 square feet, to compare the different sizes available to the subject. Net rents range from $5.50 to $6.89 per square feet. All comparables are zoned either M2 or M1. The only difference between M2 or M1 is the amount of space that they have, that they utilize outside. So I'll just read what the city has here. So M1 manufacturing, which is light, it's intended to provide light manufacturing processing, service, storage, wholesale, and distribution operations, with all operations in the contained building, so with some limited outside storage. Whereas M2 is intended to provide light manufacturing, processing, service, storage, wholesale, distribution operations, and some limited outdoor operations and storage. So going to page 4, so you can see there we're utilizing an average income quality net rental rate of $5.78. We're allowing for 3.5% vacancy. We're allowing 2% non-recoverable expenses. We're allowing a vacancy shortfall of $3.75 per square foot. This results in an NOI of $329,972. We're utilizing a cap rate of 7% to take into account the age, condition, and location of the subject. This results in a capitalized value of $4.713 million and an assessed value of $4,714,000. If you turn to page 8, I have the map of the subject. Down at the bottom, you can see there's the parcel boundary, so it's quite a huge piece of property there. We're not charging surplus land. We don't feel that we could expand too much more on that property, and it's not excess land, as there's no way you could split that property into 2. Page 9, there's the overhead view. At the bottom, you see, again, quite a lot of parking space there, a lot of loading docks at the back. And then page 10, we have the street views and Google Maps. So taking into consideration the most recent sale, which was 6 years prior to the reference date, the studies that I've included on pages 18 and 23, which indicate a higher rental rate from Colliers and Cushman, we feel that the assessed value of $4,714,000 to be fair and equitable, and I would respectfully ask that the board confirm the value. And I'm open to questions.
Thank you. Just on your comment of your mentioning of the sale in 2012, this was 6 years prior to the reference date?
Correct.
And the property has increased, according to your assessment, by $2 million since then?
Correct.
Okay. And you think this is appropriate in terms
Yes.
of... Yeah?
Yes.
That's almost a doubling of
We've
price.
seen, we've seen them. And I could point you back to the studies of Cushman and Wakefield and Collier's and your Johnson report. Industrial space in Winnipeg is at a prime right now.
Those are my questions.
Thank you. See if the panel has any questions. Ms. Nesbitt?
Again, your comparables, you've split them into different leasable areas.
Correct, yes.
Coinciding with your number of premises. And I think you mentioned a range of 550 to 689. Yeah, just on your comparables.
Yes, 550 to 680.
Okay. So your model is actually lower.
Yes, a little bit.
Thank you.
Mr. Swatsky?
On your comparables, the lease areas range from 3,500 to 20,000.
Yeah.
We're looking at, what, 61, 62,000 square feet?
I did that because the premises on the are split up that way, so we're comparing apples to apples.
Oh. All right, thanks. No further questions.
Have you inspected this property?
This one, no, I have not.
Did you take any of the pictures that are in here?
Those are from our system and Google Maps.
Building was built as one unit at 1973, as far as you know?
As far as I know, yes.
Thank you, that's all my questions. Tomorrow, ready?
Yes. I'm actually just trying to locate my cap study somewhere around here. Seem to have misplaced it. I'm sure it's right in front of me. So I've reviewed this while the assessor was presenting his brief, and I'm asking that the board that I'm revising my figure. I'm accepting the assessor's rent. So our difference of opinion would be the 7% non-recoverable and the capitalization rate that we've applied. They've applied a 7% cap rate. We've applied a 7.25 cap rate. Now, the net operating income, based on the parameters that I've used, which include the assessor's rent, the vacancy, the shortfall, we've applied the 5% that we've used. That gives us a net operating income of $312,722. Divided by 0.0725 gives us a value of $4,313,407. So 4,313 rounded. So again, the difference of opinion is the non-recoverable issue and a slight uptick on the capitalization.
Okay. Thank you. See if the assessor has any questions.
Give me 1 second.
Yep. Take your time.
you're recommending 4,313,000.
13,000.
And your figures were for the rent you were using, our rent?
Yes, I can take you through it. I mean, it's 578, so everything corresponds to your valuation except for the difference in the non-recoverables. And we've used a 7.25 capitalization rate where you've used a 7.
I would agree to the value, but not how we got there. We don't agree with the 7% management, but we are willing to accept that value.
Very good. Any questions from the panel members?
No questions for me?
No questions. I have no questions either. That will conclude item number 6 on the docket, 615 Inkster Boulevard. And we will move on to number 7, which is 494 Jarvis Avenue. Whenever you're ready, please.
Board of Revision, file number 19-2754, roll number 140019582000, address is 494 Jarvis Avenue. Roll year is 2020, reference date is April 1st, 2018, assessed value is $1.308 million. Parcel use is industrial warehouse. Number of buildings is 9, number of premises is 1, number of stories is 1. The actual year built ranges from 1928 to 1986. We're using an effective year built of 1963. Wall height is 11 feet to 17 feet. Zoning is manufacturing general M2. Land area is 42,056 square feet. Plan area is 25,592 square feet. The gross area and the leasable area is 25,592 square feet. The land to plan area is 1.64 to 1. So there's no net leases on this. This is fully owner occupied. I don't have the income expense that they submitted. So going to page 3, there's my comparables. So all leases are current in relation to the reference date. All comparables are storage warehouses. Effective dates range from 1955 to 1973. Wall heights range from 12 feet to 16 feet. The leasable areas range from approximately 20,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet. Net rents range from $4.38 per square feet to $5.74 per square feet. On the next page, we have our workup. So you can see we're utilizing an overall below average income quality net rental rate of $4.85. We're allowing 6% vacancy even though there's been 0 vacancy for a number of years. We're allowing for 2% non-recoverable expenses. We're allowing a vacancy shortfall of $3.75 per square feet. This results in a net operating income of $108,583. We're using a high cap rate of 8.3%. We're taking into account the age, condition, and location of the subject. This results in a capitalized value of $1,308,229, or an assessed value of $1,308,000. So if you turn to page 8, Here's the map of the subject and the parcel boundaries below that. And then on page 9 is the overhead view of the subject. And then on page 10, we have some Google Street views of the subject property. So in conclusion, we believe that the assessed value of $1.308 million to be fair and equitable, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm this value.
Very good.
I'm open to questions.
Thank you.
Have you been in this location?
I've driven by it, but I have not been in it.
How do you think access is to this?
There's access in the front, at the side, and the back lane, I believe.
Those are my questions.
Thank you. Let's see if the panel has any questions. Mr. Swansky?
A lot of buildings constructed over different periods of time.
Right.
And there is one building separate from the rest. Is that correct?
Yeah, it looks like that. It looks like storage, maybe.
And where's the loading and unloading?
There's loading on the top. If you look at page 9, at the top, there's from the rear entrance, there's loading there. But I'm not sure if they have semis coming in or not, or if they require semis coming in.
No concerns about the land decline area?
No, it's zoned M2. It's in line with M2.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Nesbitt?
I have no questions.
Are all the buildings heated?
I have not been in them.
I see on the bottom of page 9, the building in the corner.
Yeah, that's a storage. It looks like it's storage. I'm not sure if it's heated or not.
And it's fully owner occupied, you said?
It's owner occupied, yes. And it has been for a number of years, I believe.
And could somebody else ask, have you inspected the property?
No. I just drove by it. That one and the one actually across the street, which is the next.
Okay. But the rents that you're using would be based on the idea that all the space is heated. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. I don't know, maybe
We'll find out later. I don't know. Thank you. That's all my questions. We'll hear from Mr. Navarro now. Please speak.
If you please turn to page 2 of the brief, you can see an outside picture of it, and then an overhead picture of it in its area there. So I took a drive in this area, to this area and drove around this property. What I found is that I was able to easily maneuver through this area. However, when I thought about a semi-trailer actually driving through this area, I thought that it's actually quite a difficult drive for a semi-trailer. So that's where I'm saying that on page 4 that access actually isn't that great. It does have access points into the property, which every property has to have, but access into the area is not great for larger trucks. The closest exit point onto a larger thoroughfare is actually exiting through some residential neighborhoods and then getting onto Salter. You can access through Sutherland and move eastwards and then access onto Main Street, but again, in terms of overall access for semi-trucks, it's not the greatest. And then there is through Jarvis going westward. You can access going westward towards McPhillips. However, as I said, in terms of its location, it's not a great location because, again, you're having to go through residential areas also to get to this location. I don't know if the residential areas came after the industrial areas or which one came first, but in terms of its overall design as a subdivision, not great. And then we can flip to page 8. So we've used a similar rent as the assessor. We've signed a $475 net rent. Again, it's reflective of the type of building that we have here. Its location also, which we think is rather poor. In terms of vacancy allowance, we've allowed 6%. $375 for shortfall, 7% for non-recovery, and again, we have a slight difference of opinion on the capitalization rates, but we're fairly close to each other. They're at 8.3, we're at 8.5. Again, we think this is not your typical investment grade properties. It was put together, hacked together over years. Its location is not great, access is not great into the area. So, again, we think that it's going to be on the lower end, or the higher end in terms of the capitalization rate. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you.
So its owner, do you know how long the owner has been of this property?
Our records go back to about 2010 with this owner, so
if the building they've met their needs, I guess.
I think it meets their needs, correct.
And you're saying, yeah, we agree on the cap rate, the location and whatnot, so we're slightly off. I don't have any further questions.
Okay, thank you. Desmond?
Yeah, can you just explain how you are proposing an 8.5 cap? I'm looking at your cap rate report, and I do see non-investment grade.
It's 8 plus.
8 plus, so
Okay.
why an 8.5?
Well, so 8 would be your non-investment grade property. When I look at this property, it has a lot of negative features to it.
The access you did mention.
The access, the building itself is kind of like a mixture of different buildings that were put together over the years. Assuming no standardized HVAC systems, all the systems are kind of put together. Simply by the drive-by, you can tell that.
You didn't did you inspect the property?
I did a drive-by, but I got a pretty good look at it. Again, the overall location, I'm not talking about access, the overall location is not great. So they have to have security in there for specific reasons.
They do have security?
Yeah. And you're right next to the tracks. So, again,
Is that a positive or a negative?
is that a positive or negative? I don't know. I think the biggest drawback to this thing is the construction itself, how it was pieced together over decades probably, and its access into the area. So you're having to go through what are essentially residential areas to get into this thing. So that's why I said I don't know if this industrial subdivision was there first and the residential came afterwards, or the residential was there and the industrial came afterwards. If it's the latter, it was poor planning, because it would have been a poor planning decision to put something like that there.
Okay, thank you.
Although there are warehouses along Sutherland, as I was driving through there are some warehousing areas there. But again, they have slightly better access.
Just looking at your NOIs, they're very similar. Like they're only $8,000 apart. So
Yes.
it's really, despite the 5% non-recoverable, it's mostly a cap issue.
It's mainly a cap issue. Yeah.
Thank you.
Raises an interesting question. If this property were to be abandoned, and
What would it become?
what would it become? And What would be the land value of this property without the building?
You know, I've looked at industrial land values for M2 and M1 along railroad tracks. And depending on the area that I looked at was in St. Boniface, and it ranged between about $3.50 all the way to about $6 per square foot. Now, that is in St. Boniface. What could this become? I think it could become a storage facility, another type of industrial warehouse type of building, but it would most likely be owner-occupied as opposed to an investment-grade property, because, I mean, the location is just too poor for an investment-grade property where you're leasing out to tenants. That's the drawback of this property, is its location.
Okay, the land area is what square feet?
42,000.
42,000. And say even at $3 a square foot.
Yeah, I mean, the land value is not high.
No.
But it has value to someone who wants to use it, obviously, but in terms of the approach that we're applying to it, we're applying a market approach based on the idea that we're looking at investment-grade properties that lease out in the marketplace. This is not one of those properties, and that's, again, why I chose the higher end of the cap rate scale at 8.5. You're not going to see too many properties like this.
Thank you.
I've heard some, just as a little bit of a lot of people have said some things about some of the industrial properties in Winnipeg, and I'm not talking about the stuff in Inster Industrial Park. This one is outside of Inster Industrial Park. But they've described it as under-demolished. And I would think that this is one of those that falls into this area of being under-demolished. It's just, right now, it meets the needs of the current owner, and that's about it. I don't know what a potential purchaser would pay for this property, or whether it would suit their needs, or whether they would just knock it all down and start from scratch.
Can I ask what the owner does there?
I believe it's right there, Loblaws.
Loblaws, so they're using it for storage.
They're using it for
And they've
storage.
been there for 10 years. So yeah.
I would say probably more than 10,
More,
but
at least.
yeah. I don't think they're storing food in here. I think it's other things that relate to their operations around, Winnipeg and the surrounding areas.
Or is it display fixtures?
Yeah.
I think it's display fixtures, actually.
Yeah. But there was security there. Obviously, they have an issue with, I'm not going to say obviously, but there seems to be an issue with crime because there is security.
Okay, I think my questions have been asked. We will take it under advisement and move on to item number 8, 467 Jarvis.
So this one is right across.
When you're ready.
Okay, Board of Revision, file number 19-3744. Roll number is 14002013500. Address is 467 Jarvis Avenue. Roll year is 2020. Reference date is April 1st, 2018. The assessed value is $1,006,000. Parcel use is industrial warehouse. Number of buildings is 1. Number of premises is 1. Number of stories is 1. Actual year built is 1976, and the effective year is 1976. Wall height is 16 feet. It's zone M2 manufacturing general. Land area is 25,728 square feet. Plan area is 16,576 square feet. The gross floor area is 16,576 square feet. Leasable area is 16,500 square feet. Land to plan area is 1.55 to 1. So on the next page, we see that the subject sold back in November 5th, 2008 for $675,000. If you turn to page 13, there is the sales mailer for the subject. So you can see there's the price paid was consideration paid was $675,000. It was for question 3. It was a non-arm's length sale. The sale price was negotiated October 28th. Now the sale price they agreed on was $650,000. Question number 5. Was there a appraisal report or opinion and value completed on the property? And yes, there was. Their appraisal came in at $625,000 at the time, and there's $25,000 of interest payments. So I guess the vendor took on a mortgage. So I think that's where the $650,000 sale price comes in. If you look at question 15, the overall condition of the building, they state it was in good condition. This is the purchaser stating this. And then on page 14, you can see that the total mortgage, total sale price was $675,000, and that included a first mortgage, a second mortgage, and cash down. So going back, now there's no subject leases. I think this is an owner-occupied building. So if you turn to page 16. That should say 15. So if you turn to page 15, there is so it's owner-occupied by a different company, so I guess they have a corporation that owns a different corporation, and the corporation that is tenanted in there is paying a lease, and you see that the lease is, or their rental revenue is $126,000, which works out to about $7.64 per square feet. There's no utilities that are paid by the owner, so I take it this is a net lease. So if you turn to page 17, there is I put in some other income expense mailers from 2016 to 2010, just to show you something there. If you look at the management expenses on 2006, they're $12,800 with, it looks like 6 tenants in the building at the bottom there. And then the next page, page 18, 2007, the property management expenses seem to be the same with all those tenants in the building there. 2008 mailer on the next page, on page 19, the property management expenses go down to $3,000, and it looks like there is 3 tenants, so one tenant has 4 premises in there, and there's 2 other tenants, so that's on page 19. And then on page 20, if you look at the property management expenses, they jumped to $42,000 with the same amount of tenants there. So that's kind of suspect. Page 21, there's 2010 income expense mailer. Again, $45,000 property management expenses. The income has increased quite a bit from 2006. You see, and then our 2017 mailer again on page 15. The property management expenses there are still at like $39,000, so I'm not sure what that is all about. That's way more than 5%. So even though now the building is fully owner occupied, management expenses are there, so I'm not sure what that is all about. And then if you go to page 3, there's my comparables. You can see that all leases are current in relation to the reference date. All comparables are industrial storage warehouses. They're located in the same market region as the subject. Effective ages range from 1979 to 1989. The wall heights range from 18 feet to 19 feet. 18 feet to 22 feet. Leasable areas range from 3,000 square feet to 3,500 square feet, and approximately 15,000 square feet to 17,000 square feet, to take into account the different premises that are on the property. There has been no permits taken out, so I still assume that each premise is still there if it's not one big premise. So net rents range from $5.65 per square foot to $7.75 per square foot. All comparables are zoned either M2 or M1. The following page, there's our workup. So we're utilizing an overall average income quality rental rate of $5.74 per square foot. We're allowing for a 6% vacancy, even though it's been owner-occupied since, they've been there since 2007, but it's been fully owner-occupied, I believe, since 2011. We're allowing for 2% non-recoverable expenses. We're allowing a vacancy shortfall of $3.75 per square foot. That gives us an NOI of $83,533. And compare that to what their net operating income is, I think we're fairly low. We're using a high overall cap rate of 8.3%. That gives us a capitalized value of $1,006,422, which equals a assessed value of $1,006,000. So taking, actually, if you turn to page 8, there's the subject map and parcel boundaries. And page 9, there's the overhead view and the front and back. You can see there's, I guess, overhead doors in the back, and there's some storage on the side of the property there. And then on page 10, there's the street views. Page 11, I put that's the full building, and then page 12, there's the premises of the buildings or the premises inside the building. And like I said, we haven't had any permits, so I'm assuming that those demising walls are still there. So taking into consideration the most recent sale from 2008 in the amount of $650,000, which was 10 years prior to the reference date, we believe that the assessed value of $1,006,000 to be fair and equitable. And I respectfully ask the board to confirm this value. And I'm open to questions.
Thank you. Let me see if there are any questions.
Yeah. So you've approached this as demised units of premises rather than...
I've actually done it both ways. If you look at my comps, I've done the actual premises, and then I've also done the full building. There haven't been permits taken out, but I'm not sure. I'm assuming they're not. I'm assuming the walls are still there.
And your comparables are coming from Keewatin. Where is Bentall?
Bentall is, I believe, it's in Inkster Industrial.
Okay. And those have...
These are all Market Region 1, which we call, so they're all from the same industrial market.
Okay. And these properties, for example, 310 Keewatin has a higher wall height, 22 square feet or 22 feet for Bentall. Would you say that the area, say, I'm going to guess this is around Inkster Industrial Park. Mm-hmm. Is that better than our location?
It's the same market. 617 Jarvis and 615 Jarvis are right in the area.
Okay. And you have perpetual leases on those.
Right.
Can you explain that?
A month to month. And they've been there since 2006 and 1998.
So they're paying
month to month.
$6.55 per 3,395 square feet.
Correct.
But there's 16,000 square feet, right?
Like I said, I believe that the premises are still, they haven't been, the demising walls are still
And I'm
there.
just going by what you presented in some
Right.
of the other ones where you've actually broken it apart and had a blended rent in there.
Well, these ones, because I don't have permits, I'm assuming that the walls are still there, so.
Okay. Those are my questions.
Thank you. See the panel members have any questions? Ms. Nesbitt?
Yeah, I just want to follow up on something
Sure.
I think you said, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
You said your NOI is low, according to, I think that's what you said?
Well, if you look at the income that it was generating prior to it being all, like on page 21. So they're collecting in 2010 $114,000.
Okay,
I think.
so the potential rent is low compared to
Right.
what's been reported.
Right.
Okay, so I I didn't hear you properly, I thought you said the NOI was low. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sawansky?
No questions, thanks.
Okay. Have you been at this property?
I drove by it. Same day I drove by the other one.
The other one had a cap rate of 8.3, and I believe this one has a cap rate of 8.3 as well.
Yes, for the area.
The area, I guess this one is more of a complete one-piece building than the other
Well,
one.
it's one piece building, but there's premises inside, and like I said, I'm not sure if the walls have been removed or not.
You can see from the front on page, the top picture on page 9, it looks like it's set up to be.
Yes, on my page 12, if you look, there were different tenants in there at one time, but now it's all owner occupied. On page 12, sorry.
Do you know what they do in
No, but you can maybe assume something from the name of the people who own it, and the tenant is bio or something in there. So.
Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you.
If you turn to page 7 of my brief, these are the addresses that we were drawing from. And we've chosen a rent of $4.75 per square foot. The parameters, the remaining parameters are the same except for the exception of the 5% non-recoverable. Even the capitalization rate is the same as the assessors. We've chosen a slightly higher capitalization rate, lower capitalization rate on this one. We do think it is a slightly newer building, less of the mixed, ages and style of construction for the other property. So we have a value of $780,000, $758,000, $781,000 rounded. That's my question.
Very good. We'll see if the assessor has any questions.
Yeah. So you're going with the 7% cap rate?
7% cap rate?
8.3.
Or sorry,
8.3.
oh, yeah, sorry.
The difference is the rent and the non-recoverable.
So, I guess your comps, are they from Inkster Industrial?
Yeah, and there's,
Is there any, I guess Jarvis would be good.
yeah.
Yeah, I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. We'll see if panel members have any questions. Mr. Sawatsky, any questions?
Well, I know we shouldn't really be comparing from the last one, but it was viewed as pretty piecemeal with different construction and stuff. And you're down to 1.1 million. And on this one, which is a better property, because it has one big building, we're below the 1 million from the previous one.
I think it's the square footage.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Square footage and land area.
Thank you.
I have no question.
So you can see that we actually applied the same rent. Tend to think that this area will get high rent, but I mean, there were smaller units there that were getting higher
Well, they
rent.
were bringing in 117,000 rent there in 2010.
I have a question on on your page 7 with the rents. Are some of these in the area? Paramount Road, there's 4 or 5 on Paramount Road. Are they in this area?
I would say that the only one that's in this area is 440 Jarvis.
Or 40 Jarvis Avenue at $4.50. Okay. And you're using 475 here. Have you been at this property?
I just drove around it.
Because the assessor had said he thinks it's demised, still demised, but you don't know for sure whether it is. Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you. And I think that concludes our hearing for today. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for your information and help and presentation.
Thank you.